In the early 3rd century BC, the Maurya Empire stood as the most powerful state on the Indian subcontinent. Its vast expanse was the legacy of Chandragupta Maurya, who had carved it from the fragmented kingdoms left behind after Alexander the Great's retreat. His grandson, Ashoka, was born in 304 BC in the capital city of Pataliputra, into a court that was both splendid and dangerous. The Maurya dynasty was powerful, but it was also a place of political intrigue where succession was never guaranteed. Ashoka's father, Emperor Bindusara, had many sons. Ashoka was not the eldest nor the favored. His early life was shaped by military training, administrative assignments, and a reputation for intelligence and decisiveness. He gained experience governing frontier provinces, where his ability to control rebellions and impose imperial authority brought him both admiration and fear. His personality was marked by a stern will and, at times, ruthless methods. When Bindusara died in 273 BC, the question of succession turned into a bloody struggle. Multiple claimants vied for the throne. Ashoka, backed by loyal generals and a determined will to rule, emerged victorious. Ancient accounts differ on how he achieved this. Some suggest that several of his brothers were eliminated in the process, but what is certain is that he became the 3rd emperor of the Maurya dynasty. In the early years of his reign, Ashoka governed as a traditional conqueror. The empire was already immense, stretching from present-day Afghanistan in the northwest to Bengal in the east and deep into the Deccan Plateau in the south. Yet one independent and strategically important region remained outside Maurya control: Kalinga, located on the eastern coast along the Bay of Bengal. Kalinga's wealth and coastal trade routes made it a coveted prize for any ruler seeking to consolidate power. In 261 BC, Ashoka launched a massive military campaign to conquer Kalinga. The war was fierce. The Kalingan army fought with stubborn resistance, defending their homeland against the imperial forces. The conflict did not end quickly. The battles were long and devastating. When victory finally came to the Maurya forces, it was a costly triumph. The scale of human loss was staggering. According to Ashoka's later inscriptions, over 100,000 people were killed. 150,000 were taken captive, and countless others died from famine and displacement in the war's aftermath. The once thriving cities of Kalinga were left in ruins, and its people suffered greatly. The Kalinga War became the turning point of Ashoka's life. Walking through the battlefield after the final victory, he witnessed the corpses of soldiers and civilians alike, the weeping of families, and the desolation of once vibrant communities. Unlike previous campaigns, this conquest brought him no sense of glory. The human suffering weighed heavily on him. In his rock edicts, Ashoka would later write of his deep remorse, declaring that the deaths of even a fraction of those who perished would now be unbearable to him. This moment of reckoning marked the beginning of a profound transformation. Ashoka turned away from the path of aggressive expansion and sought a new philosophy to guide his rule. He found it in the teachings of Buddhism, which emphasized compassion, non-violence, and respect for all living beings. Although Buddhism had already spread across parts of India, Ashoka's conversion gave it unprecedented royal patronage and a global reach. From this point onward, Ashoka ruled according to what he called Dharma, a moral code that combined Buddhist ethics with universal principles of justice, kindness, and tolerance. He did not impose Buddhism as the state religion, but encouraged respect for all faiths, believing that harmony among different traditions strengthened the empire. He began issuing a series of rock and pillar edicts across the empire, inscribed in local languages so that even ordinary people could understand them. These edicts explained his policies, his remorse for past violence, and his commitment to the welfare of his subjects. Ashoka's administration underwent significant changes. He appointed special officers called Dhamma Mahamatras to oversee the moral welfare of the people, resolve local disputes, and ensure fair treatment for all, including prisoners. Laws were reformed to be more humane, and unnecessary executions were discouraged. The focus of governance shifted from military campaigns to civil improvements. Public welfare became a hallmark of his reign. Roads and rest houses were built to aid travelers. Wells were dug and shade trees were planted along highways. Hospitals were established not only for humans but also for animals, an extraordinary concept in the ancient world. Ashoka encouraged the planting of medicinal herbs throughout the empire and promoted agricultural improvements. Hunting for sport was discouraged, and certain forms of animal slaughter were restricted. Ashoka also worked to spread the message of Buddhism beyond his borders. He sent emissaries to distant lands, westward to the Hellenistic kingdoms left in the wake of Alexander, north to Central Asia, and south to Sri Lanka. His own son, Mahinda, and daughter, Sanghamitta, were sent to Sri Lanka, where they helped establish the Buddhist faith. Sanghamitta carried with her a branch of the sacred Bodhi tree from Bodh Gaya, under which the Buddha had attained enlightenment. This sapling was planted in Anuradhapura, where it still survives as one of the oldest recorded trees in human history. For more than 3 decades after the Kalinga War, Ashoka's reign was characterized by peace, stability, and prosperity. The Maurya Empire remained united, not through fear of conquest, but through the shared benefits of just governance and economic growth. Ashoka's policies promoted trade, agriculture, and cultural exchange across the vast territories under his control. When Ashoka died in 232 BC, the empire began to fragment under his successors, who lacked his vision and moral authority. Yet his legacy endured, preserved in the stone inscriptions scattered across the subcontinent. For centuries, these edicts lay forgotten, buried under soil or hidden in remote regions until they were rediscovered by archaeologists in the 19th century. They revealed not only the history of a great ruler, but also the mind of a man who had undergone one of the most remarkable moral transformations in political history. Today, Ashoka's symbol, the 4 lions of the Sarnath capital, serves as the national emblem of India, and the wheel of Dharma from the same monument appears on the Indian flag. His story remains a powerful reminder that even the mightiest rulers can turn away from violence, and that true greatness lies not in conquest, but in compassion and justice.